So this is a gentleman from the U.S. His name is Michael Franzese. Very interesting gentleman. I read his book maybe 20, 30 years ago, and I thought it was very well done. He's got another book coming out soon. He was the son of a gentleman who was the leader of a mafia family, Sonny, and he was sent to prison. Michael believes wrongly. So he spent, instead of going to medical school, he became a mafia member himself, he says, in order to try to free his dad. I have no reason to doubt him, but that's what he says. And he now has a channel on YouTube, very interesting channel. He's got a lot of subscribers, good for him. And he opened a business recently, Slices, I believe it's called, pizza, good for him as well. The only caveat I have is sometimes he shows a little bit of ignorance on topics, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So he was talking about Joe Rogan having on a guest from CNN, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. And he goes on saying Joe eviscerated him, and he's using lots of vocabulary that strongly suggested he was taking Sanjay and destroying what he had to say on CNN about him taking ivermectin. Now, I watched the whole 3 hours of that interview, and that is really being hyperbolic about what happened. It lasted about 30 seconds, Joe just pointing out to Sanjay that CNN, in his opinion, distorted, manipulated, or didn't tell the whole truth about his taking ivermectin. But they weren't wrong in that it's not sole purpose is for humans. It's for as a horse dewormer. Yes, it is true they made a human version, but it is still not a good idea for humans to be taking it. It wasn't the purpose of the drug. Yes, their patent expired, so now it's a generic thing, so it doesn't cost very much, but its purpose was not for humans. So everyone keeps forgetting to point that out. And what Michael Franzese did is he fell into the trap of thinking, everyone else is saying that Joe destroyed Sanjay, so I'll jump on board and say the same thing too. Many of those people who said that didn't watch the interview. And then Michael then goes on also to talk about propaganda, and what he did was show his total lack of knowledge about things he doesn't know about by saying he doesn't want CNN and these places to start going into propaganda. Now, I don't want this to be an insult. Michael's been in prison for a long time. I don't know how much access he had to news in there. Michael, they've been doing propaganda for 30 years. So I don't know. I don't want this to be an insulting thing, because that's not the purpose. I just think Michael's very naive about this if he doesn't think that the U.S. or the West does propaganda. The BBC, the U.S., they all do propaganda. They've been doing it for 30 years, Michael. I don't know where you've been, but this has been going on for a long time. If you finally just woken up and think they've just started, then I think you've been missing for 30 years. It's been going on for a long time. So, Michael, just make sure you know what you're talking about. You're very good at not, and you even point out, you don't say things that you don't know, or you try to at least, but this one you've done exactly that. You don't know what you're talking about in this topic, and you've ended up showing, or as Mark Twain likes to say, you've shown your ignorance on this topic. Better not to talk about something if you don't know what it is. But anyways, Michael Franzese, you can find his channel on YouTube. really interesting stories about the mob and different topics. But when he tries to stray into a topic that he doesn't know about, he leaves himself open to criticism. But still a nice guy. I really enjoy him. He did a great story about when he was invited into Vancouver by Jimmy Pattison, and he went on his yacht and whatnot. And he was very deferential and whatnot. He doesn't point out that Jimmy Pattison himself is a bit of has a bit of a larcenous heart. But good for him. I still enjoyed his story, and I like Michael Franzese as well.